And we're live. Headed to the gym. I want to get on here more often and chat with you all. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm going to try to do more lives, bring you more information that's going to help you on your credit journey, your debt journey, real estate journey. Those are my three areas of interest that I want to shed information and knowledge upon you all on. And today, those of you that are new to the channel, if you do not already have a copy, you want to go to Amazon and get a copy of my book, 4 Steps to Better Credit. That is the absolute must for those of you who are starting your credit journey, those of you who are trying to become debt free. That's your starting point. Now, those of you that are also very well established in your credit and want to learn how to maximize where you are, that's a great starting point too, because those of you who have good credit scores would like to have great credit scores, and a lot of this is due to a little information that you may be missing, and the book is great for you as well. What's going on, Vance? How's the volume? I'm on my car audio, so I want to make sure everybody's good. Is the volume good? Can someone confirm that? And shout out to my brother Asar for this merchandise. Asar L. I really like this Equity State of Mind apparel that he has. Shout out to Kanye for the sweatshirt. Yeah, so if you don't have a copy of my book, you definitely want to get that on Amazon. I wrote that book a few years ago. Everything in it still holds true. And I've been honoring bonus letters. So if you get the book, email me a copy of your receipt, which you'll get from Amazon. Just email me your receipt, and I'll take your email and give me your full name, and I will deliver you some bonus letters that will assist you in your journey. So there's no excuse. I know you're getting a lot of information online by credit repair people, but as a consumer lawyer, I'm giving you the best information that's available from my experience that can help you. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to start this process. So I'm going to give you that information, and I want you to run with it. Take that information and run with it. Don't be an information hoarder. I'm giving you just the information you need to do what you need to do. All right? And as far as credit goes, I'm going to talk about a quick topic as I head to the gym that will help you, many of you, some of you that it applies to. But I'm getting a lot of questions. I'm also seeing a lot of posts regarding repos, repossessions. And I'll tell you, repossessions are some of my favorite types of collections to address for a few reasons. One, repossession deficiency debt and balances are very high. As you all know, cars are expensive. And you get a car and make payments, and you notice the balance doesn't go down. And first of all, as soon as you get a car, depending on what it is, by the time you drive off the lot, you're upside down. So when life happens and people are unable to meet their obligations with their automobile loan, there are a couple things that can happen. Okay, and those couple things involve repossession. There's something called a voluntary repossession where you just turn the car back in voluntarily. You take the car back to the dealership, even though the dealership, that's not their car anymore. But voluntary repossession, sometimes you know just take it back or coordinate with the lender to come pick it up. That's called a voluntary repossession. And then you have an involuntary repossession. That's when the lender sends someone to come get it from you, whether it be from your house, when you're out and about. But it's involuntary in that you did not consent to it being turned back in. Now, I understand there's a retail installment agreement where you pledge it as security. You sort of consented, but I'm talking about consent for it to be picked up at that time. So it's involuntary. All right. Now, believe it or not, both of those repossessions have same laws attached to it. So it doesn't matter whether you took the car back or they came to pick up the car, it's still a repossession, and the laws of repossession still apply. Now, the laws that apply are, I want to say twofold, but it may be really threefold. Twofold is there's a UCC, that's federal, that's a federal law, and then every state has their own version of the UCC, that's the Uniform Commercial Code. So the federal UCC applies to us all in every state, and so I like to teach off of that. But your state also has similar UCC laws that you can rely on, but it's easy to rely on the federal law because it applies in every state and every situation. And so here's what you want to look out for when you're dealing with a repossession deficiency balance. And what I mean by that, you have a repo and then you look on your credit and it shows that there's an auto loan, repossession, and then where it has balance, you'll see a balance there. And some of you may be surprised. You may be saying, well, they have the car, why are they still charging me a balance? Well, when you sign a retail installment agreement, which is an agreement you buy the car with and get a loan with the dealership is ultimately assigned to a lender, you agree that the car can be collateral and basically repossessed and sold to try to take care of the balance of the loan in the event of a default. The default is when you miss a payment. So that's why you have a deficiency balance, and many times the legal steps to claim that balance are not followed, and as a result, $0 is legally collectible from you after they get the car. Now, here are the things to look out for. One, after the car is repossessed, whether it be voluntary or involuntary, that lender, before taking it to auction, has to send you a pre-sale notice to let you know how they're going to dispose of it. It may be a private sale or a public sale. That has to be sent to you. And a lot of times the lender does not send it, sends it to an address that they know you're not reasonably going to get it. For example, say if you moved, I see this a lot, say if you moved and they have enough sense to come repossess the car at that new address, but they send that notice to the old address knowing you're not there. So that's something that's usually not followed, so they have an obligation to send that. Now, keep in mind the obligation is suspended. If you don't open it or don't receive it because you don't open the mail, that's one thing. So understand their obligation is to send that before the sale takes place to give you reasonable notice on how the car is going to be disposed of. So if that's not done, then that is a violation that can preclude or prevent them from trying to claim a balance on that repossession. Okay? Now, what happens next when that sale does take place, a lot of times it's a public auction, but it could be a private auction. A lot of times it's a public auction. That car will sell, and because the car most of the time is upside down, meaning you owe more on it than what it's valued at, the sale won't cover what's due on the loan. So say if you owe $10,000 on that loan, but at auction that car only sells for $3,000. Okay, and that's not far fetched. It can happen. That means you have a $7,000 difference. That $7,000 difference would be called the repossession deficiency balance. That's basically the balance from the loan amount due minus what the car sold for at the auction. Now, when that happens, that lender has to send you a post sale letter, which is called a calculation of deficiency letter, to give you an accounting of what the car sold for, subtracted from the balance, to let you know what that number is. Okay? Now, that letter has to get to you before they start trying to collect that balance. Once again, if that's not sent, that's a violation, and that will preclude them or prevent them from being able to claim a balance. If they try to collect on that deficiency before giving you that accounting, that's a violation. So things have to be done in proper order. Again, sent to the consumer at the consumer's actual address. Okay, that they know it will be received. And I gave you an example earlier. People move and they have enough information to understand where they move because they repossessed the car at the new address. So um, they knew where that consumer can be found. So that's a common violation that we see, and that would prevent that lender from being able to claim that balance. All right, and also when you have a sale, it has to be done in a commercially reasonable manner. So it can't be in a manner where they pay someone to, or tell someone to pay a very small amount so that they can try to get a big difference from the borrower and some inside deal. That can't happen. It has to be done in a commercially reasonable manner. So those are things that are pretty simple, straightforward, but they have a major consequence. And I've seen people with repo deficiency balances over $10,000, over $20,000, over $30,000. So just knowing those small things can bring that balance down to zero because that lender didn't do what they're supposed to do procedurally with that repossession. So I put a package together on how to dispute those types of debts, and you can comment or my email is listed in my about, and I'll be happy to send you the link on how you can obtain that dispute package for repossession deficiencies. And it goes over all the quirks and pretty much has all the letters and follow-up letters. And I'll tell you, some of the things you see is a lender will fail to provide those particular notices, but they'll magically have those sent to you to say, yeah, we sent those notices. But the fact is, they can't prove that it was actually sent, and so we have all the comebacks and objections to them on how to challenge them that they actually sent those items as the law requires, um, and this will work to your advantage because they will magically come up with the documents that were supposed to have legally been sent, but we've come to find that they have a real hard time proving and providing evidence that it was actually sent timely, because all this stuff has to be done in proper time. You can't provide it now when the sale has already happened after the fact. The law requires that it be sent pre-sale, and then the post-sale letter, the deficiency calculation letter, has to go after the sale, obviously, but before collection. Okay, so it's very particular how it has to be done. So I put together a package to help you do that, and basically just fill in the information with regard to the lender, but everything else is already written out for you. So that's made available to you. But anyway, those things are what you need to know. Um, it's really that simple. The third thing I was telling you is basically two areas of the UCC, state and federal. I mean, there's also a contract law component to it. You ultimately do need to see this retail installment agreement because you want to be sure that you're dealing with an actual person with interest in this vehicle. And like I said earlier, you usually sign this retail installment agreement with the dealership, and then it's assigned to a lender. I've seen situations where it's not assigned to a lender, and it looks like it is, but the person that signed it is not an authorized person at the dealership. So you have various scenarios where you even have a contractual issue that can be dealt with. But for the most part, a lot of the issues come from the failure to send the proper notices, and that's a popular way legally to be able to avoid having to pay that big deficiency balance and to be able to zero that out and stop the collection activity on that and clear up the credit reporting based on that. Okay, so that's all I want to talk about today. Like I said, I'm going to come on live more frequently and talk about different subjects, but today's topic is one, get a copy of the book, 4 Steps to Better Credit, and two, take notes on those repossession deficiency requirements. And for those of you that are dealing with that, you can email me and I'll give you a link on how to obtain my Repo dispute package that basically has all the templates for you on how to go through that dispute process we just mentioned. All right, y'all be safe, and I'll try to be safe. I know my friends hate when I do my car videos, but I promise you I'm looking at the road and being careful. So, but I know I have some friends that will call me after this and say, stop videoing in your car, but I promise you I'm being safe. I promise. But just want to take this time to share that with you all. Y'all have a safe day. Any questions, go ahead and throw them in the comment section. And again, my email is brian@brianponder.com, but you can just go to my YouTube page, click info, and you'll see it listed there. All right, y'all have a great one.